Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 13th International Petroleum Technology Conference opening ceremony and award presentation hosted by Petronas and co-hosted by Mubadala Petroleum and Schlumberger. To share more about the 13th IPTC, we now go to Dhahran, Saudi Arabia, where Mr. Mahmoud Abdulbaki, IPTC Board Chairman, will share his welcome remarks.
Salamat datang to the International Petroleum Technology Conference, IPTC. Distinguished guests, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the IPTC Board of Directors and the four owner societies, the American Association of Petroleum Geologists, AAPG, the European Association of Geoscientists and Engineers, EAGE, the Society of Exploration Geophysicists, SEG, and the Society of Petroleum Engineers, SPE, it's my honor and pleasure to welcome you to the 13th IPTC in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. We would like to express our sincere thanks and gratitude to the Malaysian government and Petronas for being our hosts here in Kuala Lumpur. We also appreciate and thank Mubadala Petroleum and Schlumberger for being Petronas co-hosts. IPTC this year comes to you in a virtual format. By offering IPTC in virtual mode, we are expressing our commitment to continue to provide IPTC this unique and important platform. IPTC is unique in two aspects. IPTC is unique in the fact that it is the only upstream event that's sponsored and supported by the four main upstream societies that I mentioned, with their large, diversified, multinational, talented volunteer base all over the world. IPTC is also unique in the fact that it alternates between the Middle East and the Far East. The Middle East with its vast resources of oil and gas, and the Far East with its unprecedented demand growth. The issues facing us in the upstream industry are getting more and more complex, which requires not only the most advanced technologies, but also the most up-to-date technologies. The solutions to these efforts are proving to be more and more challenging, which requires a multidisciplinary approach. IPTC provides a perfect platform for presentations, discussions, and exchange of ideas on these technologies and also on these integrated solutions. Of course, all of what I mentioned wouldn't be possible without the commitment of IPTC volunteers from all over the world. Thank you to our authors and presenters. Thank you to our committee chairs and committee members. I'd like also to thank our exhibitors, and we appreciate the generosity of our sponsors. I would like also to thank and recognize our own staff that work hard every year to bring IPTC to you. This year they even worked harder because they put all of IPTC in a virtual format for you. Last but not least, I would like to thank you for participating in this virtual program. I hope you enjoy and benefit from your experience, and please provide us with any feedback you might have on this experience. I'd like to share with you that the preparation for the next IPTC are already started. See you in the next IPTC in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia in February 2022.
Thank you, Mr. Abdulbaki. We are now honored to introduce the esteemed Tunku Mohamed Taufik, Honourable Advisor of the 13th IPTC and President and Group Chief Executive Officer, Petronas, to deliver his keynote remarks from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to everyone. On behalf of Petronas, I am pleased to welcome you to the 13th edition of the International Petroleum Technology Conference, or IPTC 2021, themed Progressive Collaboration and Innovative Solutions, Shaping the Future of Energy. Petronas is honored to host this year's IPTC together with co-host organizations Mubadala Petroleum and Schlumberger. Despite the regrettable fact that much of the world is still subjected to travel restrictions, our conviction is that industry gatherings such as this one must continue. Platforms such as IPTC are critical as they allow us to stay connected as a fraternity and stay informed of the latest ideas and innovations, especially in facing evolving industry challenges. The participation of an esteemed lineup of sponsors and exhibitors with over 3,000 participants attending a multidisciplinary conference program at IPTC 2021. The level of commitment and support we see here is also a strong signal that resilience continues to be the defining attribute of this industry, despite many being severely hit by the turbulence of 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, the year 2020 was an extraordinary year that has caused more disruptions to the energy sector and to our lives than anything that we have ever experienced in recent history. While we remain hopeful given the pace of vaccine deployment around the world, we will need to grudgingly accept that 2021 and much of the future of the oil and gas industry will still be heavily shaped by the unprecedented events of 2020. Cast your minds back to the height of the pandemic when close to 4 billion people were under movement restriction, reducing global oil demand to 92 million barrels per day. This was a full 8 million barrels per day lower than 2019. In spite of the recent observable modest recovery, many of us still suspect that oil demand is unlikely to return to 2019 levels anytime soon. This is due to uncertainty around the pace and scale of recovery, continued restrictions around travel by road and by air, and rising efficiency and electrification of the transportation sector. Given these muted expectations, the upstream sector has seen a significant cut in capex. Upstream spending last year fell below $400 billion, less than half of the peak that we saw in 2014. I am, however, somewhat assured that despite these reductions, there is enough production capacity to meet demand in the medium term, as demand is still weak compared to pre-crisis levels. At the same time, the energy transition to cleaner and more sustainable sources continued at an accelerated pace. This was driven by several factors, not least of which was the urgent need to address climate change by reducing carbon emissions. And this was coupled with the staggering momentum of technological advancements in this space. In the midst of the global crisis, we also witnessed fresh commitments from governments towards net zero carbon emissions by mid-century, including, among others, China, Japan, South Korea, and the European Union. Once these forward-looking commitments are translated into actual policy and regulation, this will further spur requirements by financiers for businesses to be greener and cleaner, further compelling us to take a long, hard look at how we address emission standards. As many of you are only too aware, when these steps are already being strongly espoused by investors as we enter capital markets. Taken in totality, the convergence of these forces spells out the need for a fundamental shift in the oil and gas industry, quite literally prompting a great reset, both in terms of the outlook for the industry and how we need to operate in order to survive and thrive in this new operating environment. Ladies and gentlemen, while we work to recalibrate the future for this industry, this period in history presents an opportunity for us to chart our own green recovery, an opportunity to step up to the challenge of delivering energy within the paradigm of sustainability. As we cast our eyes forward, we must, however, acknowledge that oil and gas will still continue to make up a significant portion of the energy mix, although its share declines from over half at about 54% in 2018 to around 47% by 2040, while renewables continue to grow rapidly. To contend with growing energy demand, we must now develop and deliver various forms of energy and technologies. Renewable energy alone will not be able to meet growing energy demand amidst growing populations and economic expansion, which we expect to see post-recovery, particularly in Asia. There is the problem of intermittency that needs to be resolved with advances in battery technology. Collectively, as an industry, we have before us the task of meeting these growing energy needs with supply that is affordable, secure, and sustainable. Recognizing that oil and gas continues to be a vital part of the energy mix, I would posit that gas should, and indeed must, play an important role to meet these demands, as it is the cleanest, most abundant, and accessible fossil fuel source. I may be stating the obvious given the nature of this forum. Those present here collectively have the capacity and the capability to turn all the technical prowess and technological ingenuity that have long been defining features of this industry towards decarbonization. We should explore this not because we are conceding to the investment and policy changes that are happening as we speak, but because we are now presented with the opportunity to take the lead in providing solutions for carbon emissions, which is a problem for many industries beyond oil and gas. Achieving this will require us to approach producing energy in a more progressive, collaborative, and equitable way, with a focus on reducing emissions, carbon footprints, and operational impact. This necessitates an intense focus on value and efficiency from subsurface all the way to the delivery of the product. A wide range of technologies and approaches are required to reverse emissions trends, and investments and deployment of negative emission technologies needs to be intensified. As you may already be aware, Petronas announced our aspiration to achieve net zero carbon emission by 2050 last year, an aspiration that we strongly believe will keep us on track towards meeting our purpose, to be a progressive energy and solutions partner, enriching lives for a sustainable future. We're moving forward in our recovery pathways by making technology our differentiator, digitalization our accelerator, and data as our assets. These elements will play an important role in providing the crucial insights to develop more streamlined, prudent, and efficient operations. I'm pleased to share that for Petronas, our digitalization efforts are already beginning to bear fruit by improving the efficiency of our field development plan studies by 30%. Meanwhile, our Facilities of the Future program helps us reduce our carbon footprint and increase safety in offshore platforms while aiming to reduce OPEX by up to 50%. We are pushing forward with this aim with our first remote operations platform piloted at the Resap field offshore Terengganu, which has the potential of 30% OPEX reduction. Zero continuous venting and flaring at existing upstream assets are projected to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by approximately 2 million tons of CO2 equivalent per annum, while helping us recover around 33 million standard cubic feet of gas per day. This has allowed our upstream operations to achieve approximately 12.5% reduction in GHG emissions and boosted total gas recovery to 27%. In these times when the energy landscape is reinventing itself, particularly in the upstream space, our continuous efforts are geared towards making our EP business safe, resilient, low cost, and low carbon. At Petronas, it would be an understatement to say that we take pride in recently becoming the first global energy company to own, operate, and produce LNG from 2 floating LNG facilities in the world, following the first cargo delivery by the PFLNG Dua, our second floating facility. Floating facilities offer a more environmentally friendly alternative to conventional onshore plants, which requires sizable tracts of land to build and whose longevity depends on the supply of nearby gas reserves. We have also made considerable headway in delivering customer-focused and innovative solutions to enhance gas accessibility. These solutions include LNG ISO tanks, LNG bunkering for marine transportation, and small parcel shipping solutions. Beyond efforts to reduce emissions from hydrocarbon production, another area that is ripe for further development is the widespread adoption of carbon capture technology. Once again, I'm speaking to an informed audience here. CCUS technology is more than 40 years old, but somehow fewer than 100 CCUS projects have been deployed worldwide. While much of this exploration is taking place within the oil and gas industry, our focus on innovation within the CCUS space must target cost reduction and broaden the portfolio of technologies. To this end, Petronas is allocating resources towards developing these technologies. Most recently, we are developing an integrated offshore high contaminant project with a complex acid gas removal unit, adopting CCUS technology at the Kasawari field offshore Sarawak. Petronas remains optimistic that there is still strong potential in oil and gas and is making every effort to create conducive investment conditions. I'm pleased to share that we currently have 13 blocks on offer in the recently launched Malaysia Bid Round 2021. This bid round incorporates innovative block offerings, flexible bidding options, a two-phased exploration period, as well as data access and transparency. With more than 20 billion barrels of oil equivalent yet to be discovered, Malaysia presents a sizable runway of potential reserves. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the skills and capabilities to be at the forefront of a revolutionary shift towards becoming a more progressive, equitable, and sustainable energy industry. We have the opportunity to create a sustainable energy system. Over and above the skills and opportunities at hand, however, we must also accept that we have a great responsibility to keep energy flowing, even as we shape a sustainable future. It is my sincere hope that we will continue to find opportunities to connect, constructively share our new learnings, and establish meaningful collaborations that will progress this agenda forward. On that note, please allow me to wish you an enriching experience over the course of this conference. Thank you. Stay safe and take care.
Thank you, Tengku Mohamed Taufik, for your enlightening message. And now, to mark the official launch of the 13th IPTC.
What are we today? In the face of numerous trials, tribulations, and disruptions, in this never-ending race for reliable, affordable energy. In this incredibly fast-paced era of innovation and technology, in this journey towards a low-carbon future, in a world post-2020. Within these walls, we seek even greater connections. Under constraints, we fashion unimaginable solutions. We reinvent ourselves and redefine our destination. Because we are the ones who have the courage to still believe that together we can rewrite our story and rise once more so that we become champions worthy of a sustainable future.
We are now pleased to introduce Mr. Mansoor Mohamed Al Hamid, Chief Executive Officer, Mubadala Petroleum, to deliver his keynote remarks from Abu Dhabi, UAE.
Hello and welcome. My name is Mansoor Al Hamid and I am the CEO of Mubadala Petroleum, the Abu Dhabi-based upstream oil and gas company. It is an honor to be with you today as a co-host of this year's International Petroleum Technology Conference. Today, I'd like to share some thoughts on trends in global energy markets, our strategy to navigate the current challenges, and how our operations in Malaysia and across Southeast Asia fit into our plans. But before I begin, I would like to introduce Mubadala Petroleum. For those who might not be familiar with our company, we are an upstream oil and gas company, managing assets and operations spanning 10 countries with a primary focus on the Middle East, North Africa, Russia, and Southeast Asia. We are a wholly owned subsidiary of Mubadala Investment Company, which is owned by the government of Abu Dhabi. In Southeast Asia, we operate the majority of our assets across Thailand, Indonesia, and Malaysia, where we have established over the last decade a strong track record of efficient operation and top quartile safety performance. With the IPTC's route in Malaysia, we are especially pleased to be supporting the conference in a year that is set to see significant progress on our marquee project, the Pegaga gas field, located in Block SK320 offshore Malaysia. As an event hosted in Kuala Lumpur, I hope you allow me a few moments to share my perspective on what makes Pegaga so important. By way of brief history, in 2010, Mubadala Petroleum entered Malaysia with the signing of production sharing contract for SK320 with Petronas, and in the years following, we successfully made 3 additional gas discoveries in the block, including Pegaga gas field. Following successful exploration activities in 2016, we participated in a collaborative project to complete one of the largest 3D broadband marine seismic surveys in Southeast Asia. Last year, despite the global pandemic, we saw the loadout and sail away of Pegaga's wellhead deck, and later in the year, the installation of the jacket, subsea pipeline, and wellhead deck. Pegaga is significant for us as it represents our first operated gas project we have taken from exploration to development, but also because it is a project at genuine scale, demonstrating our capabilities and ambition. With 7 wells and a capital expenditure of facilities and drilling of over $1 billion, this is a major infrastructure and energy project for Malaysia that will produce 550 million standard cubic feet of gas per day. I am pleased to report that in June development, drilling began and we are making good progress to delivering first gas this year. Pegaga and our operations in Malaysia are a signal of our strong partnerships, deep expertise and capabilities across Southeast Asia. But while we are excited about the prospects for our operations in the region, as a global energy company, we are acutely aware of the bigger trends impacting our industry. As we zoom out and look at the macro picture, what then are the trends and how are we adapting? Any discussion of our industry in today's environment cannot avoid the impact of COVID-19. Like us, I'm sure many of you will have been affected on a personal level as much as a business one. And for the global economy, this has undoubtedly been a major shock. The IMF estimates a GDP shrinkage of 4.4% in 2020 and has described the decline as the worst since the Great Depression of the 1930s. According to the International Labour Organization, 81 million jobs have been lost in 2020 across Asia-Pacific labor market alone. The socio-economic impact has been immense. Energy markets have, of course, responded to the crisis. The US crude prices dipping below zero for the first time in April last year as a result of stockpiles overwhelming bunkering facilities. However, with an increased rollout of the global vaccination program and global oil demand showing signs of recovery, commodity prices have started to edge upward. Learning from the lessons of the last year, however, and based on the latest analysis of many energy analysts, the forecast still remains for a fragile market as uncertainties around both supply and demand fundamentals prevail. In the short term, as the vaccination program rolls out and as the major engines of the world economy like China recover, the IMF predicts that the global economy will grow by 5.2% in 2021. We have also seen crude price nudge over the psychologically significant $60 per barrel. But there is a long road ahead to broad economy recovery. And of course, coupled with these market and economic conditions, the industry is rapidly shifting its priorities to address the biggest test of all, climate change concern and carbon emissions. In the face of this environment, the questions for our industry is therefore, how do we continue to attract investment, create value, and navigate the challenges? I believe there are 2 key areas we must focus on. Firstly, how do we remain resilient and in the face of the current market environment? Secondly, how do we ensure responsible energy provision while responsibly supporting energy transition? To take the first pillar, one of the things the pandemic has taught us is that the sector is more resilient than many would have us believe. At Mubadala Petroleum, the current environment has reinforced the need to be more efficient in order to remain competitive and maintain a strong value creation proposition for our shareholder. We have undertaken projects across our business to find ways of creating value and driving productivity, resulting in strong financial and operational results for the year. One of the key ways we have achieved this is by investing in our long-standing partnerships. This approach is deep-rooted in our DNA and central to our model of value creation, whether it's how we work with suppliers, how we engage regulators to encourage mutually beneficial returns, or the deals we strike with JV partners to deliver on shared goals. Operationally, this year has also reinforced the need to adapt to new technologies and streamline operations. A program of digital transformation, which stretches across our business, has been accelerated, helping harness data to make quicker and better decisions, improving efficiency, and ensuring our people are collaborating in real time. On the second pillar, ensuring responsible energy provision and supporting the wider agenda of energy transition, this has become central to our strategy. One of the critical ways we see Mubadala Petroleum playing its part of our focus on gas. We have therefore taken a very deliberate steps towards reshaping our portfolio to deliver on our strategy of building a gas-biased mix. As of today, we have a presence in 10 countries with a working interest production of around 360,000 barrels of oil equivalent per day. More than 2/3 of the portfolio is gas, and we believe that gas will continue to play an important role in the energy mix for the long term as a lower carbon fuel source and a bridge to renewables. Our foundation Dolphin asset that supplies gas to the UAE and Oman, the Zohr gas field in Egypt, and Arawan in Thailand are just a few of our assets that exemplify this strategy. They are key supply projects that are vital to meeting the domestic gas requirements of the countries and doing so with a lower carbon footprint. Looking ahead, what does the future hold for Mubadala Petroleum? We remain resolutely committed to our operations in Southeast Asia, which are strategic and high-value projects with promising exploration outlooks. The region is in line with our strategy to high-grade our portfolio, ensuring we maintain selectively for advantaged assets with low per-unit cost, favorable margins, and with the right technical and commercial levers in place to maximize value to our shareholders, partners, and host governments. In addition, we will of course continue to work with our partners to manage our non-operated assets effectively and in a way that creates long-term value. To do this, we need to double down on some of our strategic priorities. As I have mentioned, investing to strengthen our resilience as well as pursuing our gas-biased strategy will be vital. But we are also committed to playing an active role in supporting the industry's evolution. For instance, last year we published our first sustainability report and are currently developing the report for 2020. This is an important strategic initiative. It offers the transparency and accountability that helps us focus on our impact and continually improve our performance. In the current crisis, this has never been more important, and it has also never been more crucial for the communities we operate in. When times have been tough, I'm proud to say we have been there for people, providing medical equipment, testing kits, and other supplies to communities across Southeast Asia. These efforts reflect our values as Mubadala Petroleum and build on long-standing commitment we have made to help deliver real improvements in people's lives through education, environmental improvement, community development, and employee engagement. Our industry is an essential component of life. We provide energy, create opportunities, help develop communities around the world. At Mubadala Petroleum, our goal is to continue doing this responsibly, affordably, and for the long term. It is with this message that I would like to conclude. Despite the current challenges faced by the global economy, I believe our prospects are promising. I also believe that at Mubadala Petroleum, we have the right strategy to chart a successful path forward, one that supports the journey of energy transition while playing a key role in meeting energy needs for our host countries in safe and sustainable way. I'd like to thank you for your time and wish you a productive and informative conference. I look forward to seeing you soon. Stay safe and stay well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Al-Hamid, for your informative message. It is our pleasure to introduce Mr. Olivier Lepouche, Chief Executive Officer, Schlumberger, to share his keynote remarks from Houston, Texas, the USA.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining me today. I would like first to thank the IPTC Organization Committee for the opportunity to share perspectives on the challenges and uncertainties the energy industry is facing, and how our industry must transform itself to turn this challenge into opportunities for a resilient future. This is certainly a topic that we at Schlumberger have given quite a bit of thought, even before the pandemic, as we felt that key industry shifts were already underway. The events of last year have reinforced our conviction that we must take a different perspective going forward. Prior to the pandemic, trends emerging in the new landscape were already guiding our industry towards a step change in performance and efficiency. And now clearly, our industry's future competitiveness is being driven by the ability to combine increased industry collaboration, the digital transformation imperative, and the mandate for sustainability and decarbonization to support a resilient, low-cost, low-carbon contribution to the energy mix. To continue to be relevant and generate value by delivering energy that can sustain the world across the transition while meeting stakeholder expectations, the oil and gas industry must work differently. In Schlumberger, we believe many of the key aspects of how our industry can and must change hinge on collaboration. Historically, oil and gas industry participants derive value by maximizing their individual pieces of contribution to a project. Going forward, we must step up industry collaboration to maximize the value created by the project as a whole. This comes from a mindset of partnership and alignment, and ultimately leads to positive results for all stakeholders. That said, the level of partnership we have seen recently with operators is indeed encouraging, but the true impact, a step change in performance and efficiency across the industry, cannot be realized unless the entire industry, across the full value chain, embrace a collaborative mindset. In this context, there are three major areas where robust collaboration can enable us to change the way we work and greatly enhance what we create together. These three areas are performance partnership, digital, and sustainability. We have, for a very long time, been proponents of performance partnership models, and we are very pleased to see the level of engagement and adoption accelerating, on the realization that the next level of performance and ultimately lowest cost can only be achieved through new models. Recently, we have worked with several customers to develop projects using completely new commercial models. These models are founded on a culture of trust and transparency and have enabled us to deliver results that would not have been possible otherwise. Together, operator and Schlumberger teams have performed as one, facing challenge together as well as sharing the rewards. For instance, we have been working with Aker BP in a unique alliance to improve well intervention and stimulation performance. So far, we have together achieved impressive project performance, using the commercial models to align all partners to maximize production potential. Schlumberger is compensated directly for improvement in performance, both in terms of cost reduction and for value creation. And as such, the model encourages driving customer performance with digital and subsurface technology. Our work in this intervention alliance has been a great demonstration of our focus on customer collaboration and operational excellence. Partnerships like this enable us all to push boundaries, combining technology and new way of working to achieve new levels of performance. The same level of performance would not have been possible had each stakeholder taken a more traditional approach of maximizing their individual offerings. Schlumberger is more than ever open to new ways of working together using commercial models that fully align the goals of all partners by linking mutually beneficial outcomes to everyone's financial success. Digital. Digital is the second major area where deeper collaboration will empower us to dramatically improve industry performance. Schlumberger has been focused on digital technology innovation for the industry for some time, and we realize that to unleash its full potential, we have to work together in new ways. Our industry is fragmented across workflows, practice, data. We are siloed across boundaries of operators, service and equipment companies, government agencies, regulator bodies, and technology ecosystems. Boundaries and silos cause inefficiencies and continue to put obstacles in the way of creating greater value. The key to our success in digital is openness. If we want to excel collectively, we must embrace deep open collaboration. This is a profound cultural shift. Silos within company and across the industry must become things of the past. For this reason, we contributed the data ecosystem underlying our Delphi environment to the Open Group OSDU Forum, an industry consortium comprising major E&P companies and industry technology providers, who partnered with us and drove the strategic decision to unlock a new paradigm for an open data foundation for our industry. Digital technology can cut through fragmentation and enable interoperability and scalability that drive efficiency. Data, workflows, and edge applications will all benefit from a new, open digital ecosystem. No one provider, no one operator can realize the benefits of digital transformation alone. The premise of open digital ecosystem as a foundation for our industry can really unlock the power of data and digital innovation. In essence, we can liberate data through the open access for artificial intelligence or machine learning applications across multiple domains. And we can leverage the scalability of cloud computing for workflow realization across the EDP lifecycle, unlocking the next level of efficiency and performance whilst adapting our operating practice, from subsurface to asset infrastructure, from the office to field operation. Although new digital technologies are important enablers, it is the collaborative mindset that established the foundation for a step change in our industry practice for the benefit of all stakeholders. We look forward to fully participate in this industry digital transformation, committing to openness and a collaborative mindset, leveraging a platform approach and deploying jointly for our customers artificial intelligence and machine learning application at scale. The third major area is sustainability. The decarbonization of the oil and gas industry is a unique opportunity for the industry to lead as a sector with a clear commitment towards a net zero future. Our sector currently emits about 5 gigatons per annum of CO2 equivalent, half of it from fugitive methane emissions, 1/3 from upstream and midstream operations, and the rest from refinery process. The scope and opportunity to abate these emissions is huge and can be realized across the value chain. It is not simply about the development of technology and its ultimate deployment, but rather a collaboration of all stakeholders to evolve industry practice. And as we examine our current practice, we must challenge ourselves to come up with common approach to sustainability and key technology enablers as one industry. Changing this practice and adopting key mitigation technology at scale cannot be done alone and will require stakeholder collaboration as part of an industry body or consortium. We have been working with our peers in the PISA and now the Energy Workforce and Technology Council to address the decarbonization of oil and gas. And we are well positioned as a technology company to help our customers reduce impact of their operations. Likewise, operators have been partnering in new ways using consortia like OGCI. This level of engagement is encouraging, but to truly make a step change in industry sustainability, we must challenge ourselves to collaborate across the boundary of operator and service company, across the Scope 3 emission value chain. Schlumberger is partnering not only with the oil and gas industry to drive performance, but with leaders in a range of strategic sectors to develop decarbonization technology via a wide range of projects. As an example, we have commenced a partnership with Lafarge Holcim, a global leader in building materials and solutions. We will jointly study the feasibility of capturing carbon from 2 Lafarge Holcim cement plants in Europe and North America, using Schlumberger carbon sequestration technologies. Through our partnership, we will pave the way for both companies to make strong inroads in carbon solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, the industry has entered a new chapter. A chapter where innovation and technology will improve industry performance, dependent upon our ability to be open and collaborative towards a low-cost, low-carbon energy mix. We in Schlumberger are embracing this chapter with a new perspective on the future, working together more closely through performance partnerships that drive new value creation, leveraging an open digital ecosystem to transform how we innovate together and extract new efficiency, and collaborating on operating practice and technology that support a more sustainable future. We look forward to working even more closely with our customers and technology partners for the benefit of our industry long-term success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lapouche, for your insightful remarks. It gives us great honor to introduce the Honourable Dato Sri Mustapa bin Mohamed, Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Economy, to deliver a special ministerial address from Putrajaya, Malaysia.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to welcome you to the 13th International Petroleum Technology Conference, IPTC. It is a privilege for Malaysia to host this prestigious gathering. Last year, the 12th IPTC was held in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia. This year, for the very first time, the IPTC is being held virtually due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite being held virtually, the excitement for this year's IPTC has not abated. More than 3,000 energy professionals are here participating in this virtual conference with the theme Progressive Collaboration and Innovative Solutions Shaping the Future of Energy. Ladies and gentlemen, the oil and gas sector continues to face a multitude of short-term uncertainties and long-term challenges. The emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic last year adversely affected economic activities around the world, apart from tragic loss of human lives. The oil and gas sector has not been spared. In 2020, global oil demand declined by about 9% to 91 million barrels per day compared to 100 million barrels the year before. Oil prices plunged to below $20 per barrel in April 2020, with WTI tumbling into negative territory for the first time in history. Many oil-producing countries and companies had to resort to production cuts, disrupted business operations, delayed projects, as well as lower revenue, profitability, asset impairments, and even manpower rationalization. Despite the recent strengthening in oil prices and improving demand, we are not out of the woods yet. Ladies and gentlemen, in the longer term, the accelerating pace of energy transition will create pathways for economies and industry players to focus on clean and sustainable energy sources. With countries and players committing themselves to a net zero carbon future, we expect to see the rapid growth of non-traditional sources of energy, including hydrogen and nature-based solutions. One thing is for sure, the recent pandemic has accelerated energy transition. There is mounting pressure for the oil and gas industry to be more environmentally sustainable by reducing emissions across the whole value chain. At the same time, there is an increasing need for industry players to demonstrate their commitment to environmental, social, and governance goals, ESG goals, in line with a more sustainable future. Ladies and gentlemen, notwithstanding the challenges, oil and gas will remain the most important source of energy for the foreseeable future. The International Energy Agency projects that oil and gas will remain the dominant fuel even in the year 2040. Oil and gas will continue to make up close to 50% of the energy mix, which is similar to the levels we see today. Furthermore, natural gas will play an even more critical role in facilitating energy transition. At the same time, we need to brace ourselves for the widespread use of cost-competitive renewables such as solar, hydrogen, and wind. On the other hand, coal, although more economical, will not be a viable option in the future due to its detrimental environmental effects. Furthermore, the costs of generating electricity from renewables are becoming more competitive. As domestic markets mature, there will be greater opportunities for future cost reductions in renewables. Ladies and gentlemen, given the challenges facing the oil and gas sector and the important role it continues to play, the big question is, how do oil and gas players respond, remain resilient, and ensure competitiveness in the long term? Technology and innovation is key to answering this question, as it will lead the way in pushing the oil and gas industry to becoming more environmentally sustainable. Ladies and gentlemen, from a policy-making perspective, the industry has to be supported with the right ecosystem, including market-based energy pricing, fit-for-purpose policies, and attractive fiscal terms. Ultimately, the stability of the upstream sector investment climate must be preserved. Ladies and gentlemen, oil and gas is still a vital component of Malaysia's economic wealth. On average, about 20% of the nation's revenue was derived from the oil and gas sector from 2015 to 2020. On this note, Malaysia remains committed to promote and preserve an attractive investment climate in our upstream sector. We continue to welcome investments, strategic collaboration and partnerships to further unlock value potential in Malaysia's upstream sector. Let me take this opportunity to share with you that the Malaysian government, under the purview of the Economic Planning Unit, is in the final stage of formulating the country's national energy policy. This document, together with specific action plans, will be launched in the second half of 2021. It will guide the planning and development of the country's energy sector as it transitions towards a low-carbon future. Distinguished participants, in realizing the shared aspirations of oil and gas players towards a more sustainable future, continued discourse is of paramount importance. I am confident that collaboration and sharing of ideas, particularly in the science and technology related to the upstream sector, will facilitate oil and gas players to achieve this objective. Before I end, I would like to take this opportunity to convey my gratitude to the organizers putting up this event successfully. My thanks also goes to the host organization Petronas and co-host Mubadala Petroleum and Schlumberger, as well as the participants and presenters for coming together to make the 13th IPTC a great success. Thank you.
Thank you, the Honourable Dato Sri Mustapa bin Mohamed, for your astute remarks. We would now like to go to Mr. David Blanchard, IPTC Award Committee Chairman in Houston, Texas, USA, to introduce the IPTC Excellence in Project Integration Award.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to what has become one of the highlights of the International Petroleum Technology Conference, the announcement of the recipient of the 13th IPTC Excellence in Project Integration Award. At each IPTC, the IPTC Excellence in Project Integration Award is given to a project that adds value to the industry and exemplifies strong teamwork, solid geoscience knowledge, reservoir and engineering acumen, determined and watchful construction, and outstanding facilities engineering practices. Equally important, successful projects require a pervasive culture of HSE, a focus on sustainability, and a positive impact on the country, the region, and indeed the world. Since inception, this award has received increasing interest from the industry, becoming a highly respected form of recognition for those involved in the E&P industry. On behalf of the IPTC Board of Directors and IPTC Award Committee, I extend my sincere appreciation to all companies who took time to nominate projects for consideration and, importantly, for sharing their experience with us. So, The finalists of the 13th IPTC Excellence in Project Integration Award are Kuzliam by Total, Ichthys LNG by INPEX, Horus Arab Light Increment by Saudi Aramco. These finalists presented their projects on a special IPTC live session streamed across IPTC's social media channels on the 17th of March. If you missed the webcast, you can view the presentations at the IPTC Pavilion at the virtual exhibition. Before the recipient of the 13th IPTC Excellence in Project Integration Award is announced, we are pleased to share short project videos prepared by each finalist.
Ichthys LNG is one of Australia's most exciting and challenging energy developments. INPEX made Australia's largest liquid hydrocarbons discovery in more than 50 years within the Browse Basin. Located 220 kilometres off the north coast of Western Australia, the find, known as the Ichthys Field, is estimated to contain more than 12 trillion cubic feet of gas and 500 million barrels of condensate. In 2012, INPEX rewrote the record books and raised $20 billion to sanction Ichthys LNG, one of the largest and most complex oil and gas projects in the world. Essentially 3 mega projects in one, Ichthys LNG incorporates some of the world's biggest and most advanced offshore facilities, an 890-kilometre pipeline, and massive onshore processing facilities near Darwin. Ichthys LNG is expected to operate for at least 40 years and incorporates the whole chain of development and production, subsea, offshore, pipeline, and onshore, a rarity in the global oil and gas industry. Ichthys Explorer, the central processing facility, is the world's largest semi-submersible platform. It features hydrocarbon processing systems, utilities, and worker living quarters. After initial processing, most of the condensate is transferred to Ichthys Ventura, the nearby floating, production, storage, and offloading facility for offshore processing. The 890-kilometre gas export pipeline, the longest subsea pipeline in the southern hemisphere, is delivering natural gas and some condensate to the onshore processing facilities near Darwin. Here the gas is transformed into a liquid to reduce its volume for shipping. Purpose-built state-of-the-art onshore facilities include 2 LNG processing trains, LPG and condensate processing plants, storage tanks, and a jetty with 2 loading berths. Ichthys LNG is expected to produce at capacity up to 8.9 million tonnes of LNG per annum, 1.6 million tonnes of LPG a year, and up to 100,000 barrels of condensate a day at peak. The startup of production in 2018 marked the beginning of INPEX's transition to an LNG operating company. With cargoes regularly departing from Ichthys LNG's world-class facilities, the focus is on continued safe, reliable and efficient operations for the next 40 years. INPEX, we're here for the long haul.
Progress is nothing new to Saudi Aramco. After all, we've been powering global economies for nearly 90 years.
We are proud pioneers at the forefront of our industry, with a leading role in providing energy for generations to come.
This is the award-winning Khurais Central Processing Facility, striving for excellence domestically and internationally. Our infrastructure is on an enormous scale, with networks that work in harmony while setting the highest environmental standards. The key to our success is the integration of components using the very best technologies and practices. Fourth Industrial Revolution technologies that maximize safety and efficiency at every stage, enabling us to remotely manage production from over 1,000 wells, complete with downhole monitoring and flow control. Intelligent fields with over 40,000 sensors for instant feedback and response. And leak detection technology across our entire pipeline network that predicts potential seepages and failures.
This facility is a combination of a massive increment in our capacity to process oil, associated gas, and natural gas liquids.
Khurais crude oil output now stands at over 1.5 million barrels per day, with equally impressive gas and NGL production. The project included a new combined cycle power generation facility that reduces external power demand. Gas that once flared in the open air is now recovered and put to good use. A seawater reverse osmosis facility and a comprehensive wastewater management system ensure precious groundwater is left untouched.
Equipped with determination and persistence, international designers, in-house subject matter experts, contractors and suppliers from across the world, all working together throughout the process.
And no matter what challenges we face, the global pandemic, economic contraction, even a missile strike, our team rises to the challenge, restoring the facility to full capacity in only 10 days after the attack, delivering to the very highest standards. Not a single on-job incident, just a commitment to keep energy flowing, reliably, safely and responsibly to the world.
Thank you once again to all the companies who nominated projects for the IPTC Excellence in Project Integration Award. And the winner of the 13th IPTC Excellence in Project Integration Award is Ichthys LNG by INPEX. Congratulations.
Wow, what an honor. On behalf of INPEX and the Ichthys joint venture participants, I'd like to thank the IPTC organizers and the award judges. I'd also like to acknowledge Total and Saudi Aramco and the amazing projects they're involved in. Thank you very much.
Congratulations once again to the award recipient. To find out more about the IPTC Excellence in Project Integration Awards, please visit the special pavilion dedicated to them at the virtual exhibition. And coming up next is an exclusive IPTC Insights interview with Mr. Nasser Al Naimi, Business Line Head Upstream, Saudi Aramco. We would like to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors once again for their support of this event. Thank you for attending the 13th IPTC opening ceremony and award presentation. We hope that you fully explore and take advantage of the virtual resources and tools this event has to offer.